When we first make the transition from a beginning language learner to an intermediate or advanced language learner, maintaining our learning curve can present a real challenge. We tend to hit a plateau, feeling like we're making little if any progress, but the truth is you are making progress. The steps forward are just a bit smaller and therefore harder to notice. That, and when we start out, there is just so much of the language that is new to us that any step is a step forward. At the intermediate stage, however, it can be difficult to figure out what to do next. And when you're learning on your own, you can feel a bit lost without having someone or something there to tell you what to do next to get better. How do you decide what the direction you need to go is to continue improving? One of the easiest ways to get a bit of direction whenever you feel as though learning a language is a struggle is to get with a good language teacher. A good instructor can offer you that feedback or direction you need. But what if you're not able to take lessons for whatever reason? If you aren't able to take lessons, there is something that you can do to find that direction that you need. It's to record yourself speaking your target language. You can do this when you're chatting with native speakers, when you're working through a lesson and speaking aloud, reading a chapter of a book out loud, or even just record yourself improvising or reading a monologue that you've written. Why do this? Because in listening back to that recording or in watching it if you've made a video recording, you will pick up on things that you weren't aware of, both good and bad, in real time. While you might argue that you only need to record the audio to review where you're at with your speaking, I'd counter it with why I think you'd get more out of recording yourself on video. With video, you can also evaluate your body language. Do you look comfortable speaking the language? Perhaps you made a face at a certain point that indicated you weren't sure of something. So you can go back and review whatever it was that made you hesitate. Do you look engaged in the conversation or monologue in a way that's culturally appropriate to the language you're learning? Remember that communicating in a language isn't just about words and grammar. And what about the movement of your mouth? Have you ever noticed that people who speak different languages sometimes move their mouths differently when they speak? That's because the way you position your lips and tongue determines the sounds that your mouth produces. Some languages require the mouth to form certain shapes in order to properly pronounce different sounds. Watch the way your mouth moves when you speak your target language, and then watch the way a native speaker's mouth moves. How do they compare? Perhaps that French U sound you've been struggling with might be remedied by completing this exercise. So take action. Remember, filming or recording yourself speaking your target language isn't enough. You need to actually take action and take the time to watch the video or listen to the recording and evaluate what you're doing well and what you're not doing so well. This is why I constantly talk about keeping a language learning journal. You can take notes on your observations while listening, watching yourself speak, and then use those notes as a reference point for your future studies. Whenever you feel uncertain about the next step, you can always pop open your learning journal and look at your notes to get some direction for your learning. You can learn a lot from recording yourself, whether you're learning from the good or the bad. It's up to you to use what you gain from the experience of going through this exercise to improve as a speaker and learner of your language. Collect what you can from these experiences and put it to work for you. So what about you? What are some techniques that you use once you hit that intermediate advanced stage to avoid hitting a plateau and get to that next level? Do you ever record yourself speaking? If you do you actually go back and listen to or watch the recording? Or do you have a hard time getting around to that step? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks for watching.